What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover original show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday, August 13th edition of the Vover Wrestling Show. Friday the 13th. Stay safe out there, people. With me today to protect me from this cursed day, my tag team partner, the incomparable Kenny Herzog. Kenny, how you doing today?
I'm terrified now that you mention it.
Yeah, you were thinking about the Friday the 13th until I mentioned it, did you? I'm sorry, but I might have, allowed you to be more cautious as you proceed throughout your day for the rest of today.
I always proceed with caution.
There you go. Well, all right. Maybe I didn't do so much then.
As one should when they're employed by NXT, right?
Oh, good. Great segue. So last week, before we recorded a late show on Friday, NXT released 12 wrestlers, much to the chagrin of much of wrestling Twitter. And it was actually weird timing with it. The reports came out in the middle of SmackDown airing live on the East Coast. So that put a real big damper on that episode of SmackDown. But what emerged from that release, that list of releases anyway, was this narrative around NXT, and that, there are different narratives floating around there. One of them, which I think is a little extreme, in that, NXT is done. This is the end of NXT. And again, I think that's a little extreme, and this may be on the backs of, there's reports out there that, changes are coming. It's returning more to its developmental roots, this, that, and the third. And I just really wanted to pick your brain, Kenny, on what are your thoughts on the product as a whole? I mean, it's changed a lot over the course of the past year or so, or even before the pandemic. It's now on Tuesday nights. It's no longer going directly against Dynamite. Where do you stand on NXT and its current status and on it moving forward?
Well, thank you for asking. I think that NXT has been something that fans are so passionate about because it's something within the WWE big tent that they feel like they can really make accessible, and that they really have some ownership of and have a stake in, even because sometimes it can feel like what happens within WWE programming writ large is so removed from them and out of their control, and so many moving parts and so big and vast, and despite all the efforts to make the distance between what's happening on screen and the WWE universe at home feel more intimate. So I understand the emotion that people have, but I mean, honestly, it has not been priority viewing for me for some time in the triage of like how I sort of have to figure out what I have time to watch. And I do think that it would be kind of a relief for me as someone who observes wrestling, not to feel it incumbent upon me to know exactly what's being incubated there as a prerequisite for understanding how it's going to be consequential at some point later on Raw and SmackDown, and then having to sort of know when they're on Raw and SmackDown how to put things in the context of their tenure, with NXT. It almost makes me long for the days when it was just really pure developmental days, down in Florida or Ohio or wherever, where it was just kind of it was as if once they moved on from there, they just appeared from nothing, and that was fine.
I guess this is a great also segue to one of the big names that was released on Friday was Bronson Reed, who, by all accounts, I thought was having a rocket strapped to his back at some point. He had a really great culmination of his career, winning the North American title a few months ago, and all of a sudden he's just gone now. And if you look at the dirt sheets, the rumors are that they're trying to transition NXT back into the developmental, where they can develop more polished, more big young guys for Vince and the team over there to use on Raw and SmackDown. What are your thoughts on Bronson? I mean, I just thought he would have made the transition to Raw and SmackDown pretty seamlessly. I get, there's that also included in this report is people who aren't over 30, which I guess people who I'm offended personally, but like Bronson's only 32, and he just kind of seemed to fit the mold of someone on the quote unquote main roster. What's your gut on Bronson and why he was given the axe?
Oh, who knows? Maybe they felt what he's I forget. He's Australian or New Zealand, and
I believe he's Australian.
Yeah, maybe they felt somehow that couldn't translate to broader marketability in North America. Who knows? They have such a tough time overcoming sometimes even the smallest sort of language and culture barriers to make people fit into their formula on when you're in talking about Raw and SmackDown. But I don't know. I mean, he certainly doesn't fit what we think of as the stereotypical sort of physical profile that maybe Vince might like. But yeah, it was odd timing. I'm not even going to speculate because I don't even know how substantial those reports are about Vince not wanting people over 30, Vince not wanting people who aren't of a certain stature physically. I keep thinking about Bobby Fish, to be honest, and I'm not trying to dodge your question.
No, he was next on my list to ask you about.
I mean, I don't have a good answer about Bronson Reed. It was a surprise. So, I can only posit a guess, but because he's 32 and because he was really in a good place, it really bodes well for where he can find an opportunity to sort of just pick up from where he left off. So I think that's the good news for him. Bobby Fish, on the other hand, this is sort of saddening. I mean, this is someone that I've personally been watching for a very long time, and
right.
Was very excited to see him race against the clock to maybe finally get his opportunity in WWE proper. And he's older than me. He's just about in his mid-40s, and I don't know where there is to go. And it's unfortunate that I forget if he ever had a sort of a little cameo. I don't think he was ever in the Royal Rumble, but I forget if he had a little moment intermittently on Raw or not. But that he never got that opportunity to cap off his career that way. And wrestlers are staying more fit and healthy longer and later, and there's fewer touring riggers now post COVID. So maybe he's got some time left in the tank, even if it just means doing some more work in Japan or Ring of Honor. So I don't know. What does one make of these things?
Speaking of Bobby Fish and his Undisputed Era counterparts, someone else who's in the dirt sheets a lot these days is one Adam Cole, baby. He it sounds like his contract is up, and he's been working beyond it just to get to SummerSlam as a checkpoint to kind of reevaluate where he's going next. I mean, again, a lot of this is hypothetical, but and he obviously has the blow-off match coming up at TakeOver with Kyle O'Reilly. 2 out of 3 falls, which how many 2 out of 3 matches are they going to put Adam Cole in while he's in NXT? But anyway, what do you see in Cole's future? Is he headed towards Raw or SmackDown? I feel like I've had that conversation and saying he's headed to SmackDown or to Raw over the past year because he just seemed destined for the main roster. And now it seems like he may not even be with WWE kind of moving forward. I mean, his girlfriend, Britt Baker, is obviously in AEW. What do you see for the future for Adam Cole? Could he just be sticking around in NXT? Is that a possibility?
Well, I will look into my crystal ball of completely unqualified foreshadowing of things to come and say that Adam is at least, if I may call him Adam, or Austin if he prefers, whatever. He is in a slightly better position than either, say, Bronson Reed or Bobby Fish. He's the same age as Bronson Reed, but obviously is kind of a premium name. And the reason he's a premium name is because, in my view, he has done exactly what anyone would want to do when given an opportunity in WWE. Even if they're not on Raw or SmackDown, he has made himself a brand and a name and a known quantity that has transcended whatever people might have even thought his potential was coming in, because it's easy now to say, it was cool for, when he came into NXT that, the marks knew him from his other work, and, Adam knew the Adam Cole baby stuff. But the truth was, up to the last moments when he was in Ring of Honor, he was a cult commodity, and now he is a household name. So I think sky's the limit. Future is unwritten, and I think if there's not a place for him right now in the framework of what's happening on primetime TV for WWE, I think he probably has his choice of things he can do and places he can go, and that's just the nature of business, and that's that's the way the industry is right now, which is a different conversation than we would have been having 3-4 years ago.
Right. I mean, I hope that they can figure out a spot for him. I mean, ironically, right now, the biggest draw about him to me is his work on Up Up Down Down. And maybe I'm just a stand for that channel. And that's why I was super bummed when Tyler Breeze got released, just because of his presence on that channel. But like you said, Cole has made himself just I think he's gotten to the point now where if he parts ways with WWE, there's absolutely no way this looks bad on Cole, right? This looks completely terrible on WWE, that they weren't able to figure out a way to keep Cole and to make him a bigger star with their product, because it just seemed like he was destined to kind of take over Raw or SmackDown at some point. And I get it, like he's not the stereotypical Vince guy, right? I think he might be my height, and I'm a relatively short human being, but super talented dude. And I'm hoping WWE can figure out a way to make it work with him, because he is genuinely one of the draws for me as a wrestling fan, to keep tuning in. And it's a bizarre situation, especially given how they've just been releasing people left and right all year. So hopefully they can figure that out with Adam Cole. Kenny, thanks so much for hopping back on with me this week. You're always welcome here. You'll just like Adam Cole, you'll always be a staple here on the Friday Vover Wrestling Show. So thanks as always for hopping on with me.
Oh, you say that, but I think now I just got a phone call from Nick Khan, so you know what that means. But
just send it to voicemail and pretend you didn't get the call.
Well, look, I'm humbled as always to be here, and be careful out there on this 13th Friday. Well, it's not the 13th Friday of the month. On this date of the 13th, on the day of Friday in mid-August.
There you go. Again, always you always proceed with caution, and you always extend that caution out to everyone else. Kenny, thanks so much for hopping on with me. Always fun, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.